This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Welcome to Behind the Scenes, for your half-assed entertainment news with no bullshit, with our hosts, the Baroness and Bear Fiorda, only on Talk 4 Media.
Hey everyone, welcome to Behind the Scenes. It's your buddy Bear here with the woman who makes Hollywood nervous and the truth uncomfortable, the Baroness.
How'd you do?
I'm sick.
Me too.
That's how do I do today.
Me too. And I don't want to hear
better.
it. You got me sick.
I got everyone sick. I was patient zero for once. What's that one where like you're the very beginning? It's not patient number one, right?
No, it's patient zero.
Patient zero. All right, yeah, absolutely. I started the plague this time around. Normally when we pop in, it's actually not me who did it.
It's him.
Trying to skirt responsibility here, okay? Help me out a little bit.
You go to events with 3,000 people. Everybody wants photos with you, and they're always touching you.
To be fair, it was not 3,000 people, and not everyone wanted a photo. Some very nice individuals.
Which event?
I was commentating at a kickboxing event, actually.
Before
locally.
that, you were in Dubai with Sam, who's on the show today.
Yes.
And I'm actually excited.
I'm very excited to have Sam Alvey back on the show. He gets to talk about
his win.
His win and what's happened since, upcoming plans, the whole nine. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. By the way, thank you for everyone listening who's patient with listening, because we have coffee running in the background for myself.
So you have to explain the noise in the background?
You should. I mean, why not? We could ignore it or talk about it, and talking about it sometimes is better than ignoring it.
You were clearly not raised in a European family.
Do you guys ignore random noises around your house in a European family?
Yes. Our houses are old.
That's not...
Our houses are old. They make noises.
Just heard something crash in the backyard. Screw it. It'll be fine.
We ignore everything. We ignore feelings. Oh no, we assume everything's haunted. Everything's you guys are just babies.
We're baby. We are still kind of new as a country, you know.
And boy, you guys are killing it. You've got the worst politics I've ever seen in the world.
Yeah, I don't necessarily like our two-party system. I don't know if it ever worked out, but I feel like we had better politicians pre-1955. 55 is good. I was going to say pre-1950, yeah. And I don't agree with all the policies, maybe, because they usually were very sexist, or at some point they're very racist. But what I liked is that they just seemed to give a damn. You know, where now it's like everyone can get money wants to try to be president. I think
something America misses is you guys talk about the 1950s as the pinnacle of American society. It was the height of unionization. It was the height of public service. It was the height of public systems. So what made the 1950s so profitable were government mandates and government rebates for the average person, as opposed to the company leaders and the businesses.
Just so
GM wasn't being bailed out, but its workers were unionized.
Yeah.
The company's Denny's wasn't being given a tax break, but healthcare was being given to the workers.
Wait, the government gives a shit about Denny's?
Yeah, it was.
Why?
It was a huge corporation back in the day.
Oh my God, I see it today, and it's just that it's like a step above Waffle House. Maybe
you're talking about the value of the food, not the value of the corporation.
Talk about the business, the location.
No, it's in every city, in every state. Think of how many people that employs.
Yeah, that's
fair. And
so
that makes a difference. So you have to look at it from that perspective. What is the government protecting? In the 1950s, it was the workers. Now it's the corporations. And by protecting the corporations over the workers, you get, don't get the affluence that you got in the 50s.
I mean, look, it's not the worker that's making the politician money. It's the owners, it's the CEOs, it's the people who are requesting the tax breaks are the ones who are kicking that money back.
Yes, but once that was allowed is what happened. So the reason America was so successful in the 1950s and the reason it became a world power was post-World War II. You'll put a bunch of time and money into building corporations, but you didn't do it by going, here's a bunch of money for the person in charge.
Yeah, fair.
You did it by unionizing, which gave you the largest car industry in the world. You did it by doing rebates, which gave you the biggest film industry in the world.
This is a very politically heavy opening, by the way.
Well, that's not really
normally
politics,
very
it's
neutral,
history.
but
that's not politics, it's history. Both of your political parties are failing to do any of this.
No, that's fair. I think everything's so politically charged in the country that we tend to disregard history as left or right consistently instead of just our history of our country.
Well, you have to remember your Democrats were the ones that pushed to end Jim Crow. Your Republicans were the ones that pushed to end slavery. Both of your parties have been on the right and the wrong side of history, as everyone else's has too. That's not wrong.
Right.
The strange part of American history is you don't protect your workers the way you once did, so they have less.
Yeah.
Your dollar goes shorter.
It's definitely a terrible day when most people are considering also being a part of OnlyFans to support their everyday lifestyle.
That certainly has changed the world, but more than anything, the gig economy has taken over.
Yeah,
you have to look.
Everyone's got
at
individual
everyone
sections.
has to have a side job, side hustle.
Sorry, I was going to say sections, but side hustles makes much more sense.
Yeah, you have to have a side hustle because you can't afford anything.
No, and you can have a decent job So let's say today's standards you're making $50,000 a year.
Sorry for snorting. It's not cocaine. I have the flu. Someone gave it to me.
Listen, if someone's coming up to you and say, "Listen, I'm snorting because I'm sick, not because I'm doing coke," it's your first thought is they're doing coke.
No, I work in entertainment, so I feel it's a distinction I need to make.
Gotcha. No,
I'm also friends with Andy Dick.
You're not helping yourself here with that coke statement. No, if you make $50,000 a year in a lot of places in the country, it's not enough. And if you live in a place where it would be enough, probably aren't going to be able to make that amount of money because there's not going to be a job out there to support that. You'd have to work remotely, like a job in California, but live in Tennessee or live in North Carolina for that amount of money to actually go somewhere and be of value to you. Mm-hmm. It's a shame. You can't live.
You're also not given the right education in schools here. You guys aren't taught how to balance a checkbook. I'm just going to complain. By the way, I like to say this is my country by choice. I like it here. I'm very good at making money here. I enjoy America. But I came from a country that taught me to balance a checkbook, how to pay taxes, what an investment is, what appropriate returns on a savings would be. So it's a little different.
And I was born here, so I can complain anyways. There's no going back to my country for me. I'm already here. This is why Sam needs to become president. He constantly talks about running for office. He needs to just do it already. If you're listening, I don't know if he's in the green room or not.
I think America needs to value its workers, or it's going to end up going the way of the French.
Are we going to behead the president at the time? Is that what's going to happen?
Really? When you do to a country what's happened to America, and this is not one party or another, in the last 50 years, in the last 50 years, I don't care which side you're on, all you've done is lose. And the only people losing have been the American people. And politically, because everyone's so tribal, they're not banding together against the government going, hey, why could I afford a factory job in the 50s and support my family and I can't today? And instead of banding together, it was brilliant. It's the best marketing I've ever seen.
Oh, God, don't start.
It's brilliant. What they've done is they've tribalized and they've got Americans fighting each other. Yeah. It is genius. If I could bottle that and sell it, oof.
But you can't.
I know, but I keep trying.
Stop.
Why?
What value does that bring to us? You're just
financially for me. So
no, that's what it comes down to, isn't it? The money. The same reason the politicians are doing it.
I didn't say I was a good person. I simply said I understood the marketing. Nobody ever said I was a good person. I've never claimed to be.
I think you're a good person. I think your heart's in the right place. I just think you also you feed the devil on your shoulder a little bit too much sometimes. It keeps coming back.
Look, I'm just saying.
Okay.
If I could figure out how to, it's easy to politicize something company-wide and push for one product or another. That's easy. You have companies do it all the time, but if I could figure out how to politicize a product for both the right and the left and convince them, because if you go really far right and really far left, they're essentially the same person. It's very weird.
Yeah, very few things separate the radicals on both sides, to be quite frank with you.
They're both just weird.
Always better to be centrist.
I'm a libertarian, so
isn't that what a centrist is to us?
No,
libertarian.
Libertarian is in my country what you would call a liberal government. Here you would call it a conservative.
Okay.
But I'm fiscally conservative, socially liberal.
Yeah, it's
I don't care
down the middle.
I don't care who you sleep with. Just fiscally conservative. But fiscally conservative in my country means public medicine and unionization.
I don't care who you sleep with. Stop giving my money to foreign countries. Is that where we're at right there?
We have no problem with that. We encourage giving money to foreign countries because that gives you sovereignty over the country, means the country owes you. So one of the reasons America was such a dominant power, of course it does. The reason America was such a dominant power was everyone was in its pocket for an extended period. It's the same tactic China's taken now. It's very clever.
Yeah.
So America has given a great deal of financial relief to countries, which meant that America was shown in a positive light in their media, which gave America a bunch of power.
That's fair. You know, it's interesting when
it's
you look
marketing.
When you look at China right now, they own so much land here in the States too. They own a lot. Companies own a lot of land here, and other countries do too. It's interesting how we kind of piecemeal out our land to other countries and whatnot. I don't feel that that's probably
it
the
used
best.
To be against the law here.
Yeah, I don't think it's probably the best. And it's for money. Always is for money, no matter what. Who does the executive care who sells the land to as long as he gets it?
Well, that came under George Bush Sr. is when that was allowed.
So we're talking like what, early 90s-ish time period?
Late 80s, early
late
90s.
90s, early 90s.
So Reagan said no to it, but George H.W. took over. He said yes to it.
Someone probably lobbied for that.
And I'm sure.
Lobbied, right?
I know lobbying is illegal in my country.
Just
we
bribes.
call it bribery.
It's just bribes.
But that's it. It's essentially, I've never seen a country that went from, I mean, you guys were the first to have public health.
Right.
We copied you, then you got rid of it. Kaiser Permanente paid for Richard Nixon's election. Seriously, Google this stuff.
That's crazy.
You guys were the first to have aid. We copied you. You got rid of it. You were the first. Your unionization was brilliant. You had the strongest unions in the world in the 40s and 50s, which led to you being one of the most profitable countries in the world. I mean, you could have a factory job and support a family.
Yep. And
you could not. You could not in what is it? You could not in the UK. We have been drowning out factory workers in favor of robber barons since the Victorian age. Please, I encourage you to read Oliver Twist.
And now we live in a world where we have people on trial for freak offs.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. I'm not saying he shouldn't be.
No, he should. He's actually, I think he's going to go under the RICO Act. And it's really interesting. RICO Act.
That's not
it's racketeering.
Okay.
So essentially, and it's funny, I speak to so many Americans, and in a foreign school, I learned more about your laws, I think, than they teach in your schools. Seriously, people, put more money into your education.
That's just because America's more important. That's all that is.
No, it's not. And the same amount about China's laws and the same amount about Thailand's laws. You just don't teach your laws and you don't teach money. It's very weird.
Well, how do we keep them poor?
How do you keep people poor?
Yeah.
By getting rid of
unions and government. We teach them financial literacy. That's what we already did. If we teach them financial literacy, then they get ahead. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, your mother's an accountant. You don't, and like not the stripper kind of accountant. She's an actual accountant.
That's fucking funny.
I'd like to remind everyone, every time we use bad language, we give money to the Boys and Girls Club of America, the Humane Society of America, and Free MMA. We swear because we care.
Fuck yeah. No one asks what an accountant does. Everyone just hears accountant and they're like, yeah, I figure I know what that is. That's a person who deals with money for a company. Enough information. I don't need anything else.
I think it's interesting. But your mom, being an accountant, means you are more financially literate than most people. It's one of the conversations you and I have had.
I'd like to say there's also a healthy amount of experience in there too. Like I can have all the information I wanted, but if I never applied it in real life or made mistakes along the way, you don't get better. You're going to make mistakes with your money as you learn and figure out what to do best.
That's true. I bought a pink sapphire and just got ripped off.
What? Did it not come in, or was it fake?
No, it's false, and I'm really annoyed.
Oh, okay.
So it happens.
You have a
I keep snorting. I feel this is awful.
Just ask him to look at it.
Who do you think told me it was fake?
Oddly enough, I bought a watch online as well, and then I saw after the fact that it was fake because he texted me. He's like, "Yo, this guy's got terrible reviews. I think he's a fake merchant. You should probably look into this guy and get your money back." Oh, well, that sucks.
Yeah, you think we'd be smart enough to ask him before?
Shout out to
Matthew Morris Fine Jewelry.
Yes, he does all your jewelry.
If you don't want to get ripped off for sapphires or watches, go to Matthew Morris Fine Jewelry.
Yes, only the best and the real stuff, and someone who makes it themselves, or people under them make it for him, but it's made relatively close to the person who you meet for the sale.
No, it's my brother just believes that if you give someone a good deal, they'll always come back. He's a good businessman.
No, he really is a good businessman.
But by the way, that's part of what we are taught in school. You guys really know just the ethics of business ethics.
What's one thing about business ethics people would not get immediately? Something they don't expect to be there.
Part of business ethics is how you treat your workers. if you keep happy workers and you overpay them, people will stay with you for a longer period of time. One of the biggest mistakes corporations do is to make people faceless by creating that, using that tribalism. We talked about it in politics.
Yeah.
And creating a tribe or a cult essentially around your business. People will work for you for an extended period of time. One of the things you'll find is the royal family actually pays less money to their employees than most because it comes out of the government purse.
Okay.
But people are honored to work there and always treated very, very, very well. And that's part of why people work there. One of the things I do not believe in treating employees poorly. I don't fire them. I let people quit for the most part. And so business ethics, that is something that is also why I think America's going to turn into France.
I have to say, I'm kind of shocked that you can't make, is it like not a livable wage if you work for the king and the royal family?
No, it's livable.
Like, that would piss me off.
No,
I work for the highest.
It's definitely livable.
I work for the throne and I can't pay for my gas this month.
I didn't say it wasn't livable.
No.
But our laws say you have to pay a livable wage. So we have different laws than you do. Where, for example, tipping in America in the 1920s was not allowed.
Yep.
It was considered a gauche. You could not pay because America was considered the country of equals. You didn't have titled people like myself. You had, everyone was equal and you couldn't buy your way into it. Then businesses figured out tipping meant that they could pay their workers less.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So they incorporated that into the culture now.
Are you high? Your eyes look red.
No, it's just tired and sick.
Excellent.
Am I high? You're with me all the time.
Don't worry. We have events.
You've been talking about Coke and getting high since the beginning of this show. You got something you want to share with me and the audience?
I'm in so much pain. I need to take a Vicodin. My back hurts.
Okay, it's a different kind of, it's a healthy drug.
That's not a healthy drug. It's just
Speaking
the one
of healthy drugs, welcome to the show, Smile and Sam Alvey. And I say that because I can't get enough of watching his fights.
Well, hello there. How are you?
Fucking chicken with him.
I love that he has a chicken. That just made my day.
Man.
Well, you guys were just talking about cock and getting high, right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Not quite what we were talking about. I love that. That is the best picture. That needs to be a profile picture.
How many times has that chicken pecked you in the face?
Not once. Not once. This one here, this one actually jumps on my head often enough. That's like, I'll be floating around doing whatever farm work I need. It'll come up and it scares the britches off me every time. When I jump up, it just lands on your shoulder. If I have my hat on, it'll land on my hat.
Nice.
I love that.
You know,
this is a cheetah.
Cheetah.
Cheetah the chicken.
Is it a particularly fast chicken?
Nope, we name them, and we just got to try and remember their names. The front there ones are easier to remember. Oh, it wants to leave. See you later, Cheetah.
Very nice. You know, it's funny. You have your own farm basically, and you fight and you teach. So you're juggling a lot in your life. How do you manage all that?
I blame my wife for both the busy nature of my life and then getting it done. No, she just wants me to do stuff, and so I'll do it. And then thankfully, I get asked to do interviews often enough. It gives me 15 minutes where I don't have to do anything.
Whereas, like, I'm not feeding the chickens right now.
You get one of the kids to do it.
Yeah, actually, here, I'll show you. I was shoeing my horses moments ago.
Nice.
So I had to take a little break to come chat with you fine folks.
Well, thank you for that.
I love that. You're the only person I know that knows how to shoe horses.
Oh, I can hold the horses. The horseshoer shoes them. So, yeah, I know how to do it.
That would go so poorly if I tried to do that. Every time I go near a horse, it goes poorly. So
I'd be afraid of his legs, honestly.
Hey, it's kicked at me once or twice. It bit me, the little bastard. When I first got it. No, it took it like I was feeding it. I was in the process of giving it food, and I reached over the stall and took a chunk of my arm with it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, rotten. I've been holding. This is like 3 years ago, and I hold it against them to this day.
So for those that don't know, horses, like crocodiles, have a snap. Once they bite, they bite. They can't slow the snap. They can't anything. So if you want to be bit, one of the worst animals in the world to be bit by is a horse.
Yeah, it did. It made me bleed. It bit my arm and it bled, or I bled.
Mm-hmm. I like that. He's like, I'm going to hold that against that horse forever.
Oh yeah, forever.
Bites. It is genuinely one of the worst bites.
God, man, it's terrible.
Because it pulverizes. So it doesn't have the slowing mechanism, and it pulverizes.
I feel like
it's meant to
camel
chew through
would
grass.
be worse to get bit by. You ever seen the inner mouth of a camel?
I have. It's got well, over in Dubai, I was looking at camel tongues and how they eat cactus.
Yeah, that's a terrifying creature to be bit by, in my opinion.
I'm not a fan of camels. Now, you guys were just in Dubai
Yeah.
for something amazing. Sam, do you want to tell everyone what happened? I know we talked about your fight beforehand, and the week of your fight, we actually replayed the episode so everyone could hear that and tune in to watch. You want to tell them how it went?
Yeah, fantastically. I am now the 2 division champion of karate combat. I am the greatest karateka in the world, the karate king, if you will. I won my fight, knocked out the world's greatest kickboxer, and he was like unarguably the greatest kickboxer who've ever lived. He's just fantastic, and I knocked him out in the second. I'm pretty sure that makes me the greatest kickboxer in the world, but I will settle for the title Karate King.
I like that. I like
You've
that.
taken over a lot of titles recently.
Karate Combat needs to start the Smile and Sam belt or something based on somebody when they can get, multiple divisions.
There needs to be something made in your honor.
Agreed.
Oh yeah. I'm getting ready for whatever's next. And I'm hoping my last fight was I was about 240 pounds. My next fight, I'm hoping to be I'm hoping for it to be a light heavyweight fight, so it'll be 205 pounds. So I've already started dieting, even though I don't have an opponent. But I'm gonna work my way down to do that. And then the fight after that, I'm gonna go back up to 240. I'm gonna go back up to heavyweight. So I'm just gonna yo-yo for the rest of my career.
I think you mentioned to me you wanted to do this, or at least a big motivator for us, because you wanted to have more fights. It was about more work.
Yeah, so with the UFC, I could fight whenever I wanted. They always had a fight for me. But they had 4 events a month. Karate Combat has 1 or 2 events a month. Nothing is the UFC. So, if I get 2 belts, I can fight constantly. I can just fight back to back to back to back to back. And let everyone else figure out when they want to slip in between my bouts.
Gotcha.
I like that.
Just slide into your
you
DMs,
are definitely
for bouts.
Yeah. Well, no, you are definitely the Karate Combat star. I watched live. We were watching everyone talk about you online. You have a huge following now. You've got so many people that are interested in what you're doing, and you are really leading the way. And as the UFC is losing, has kind of lost interest. Everyone's seen it. There's more and more interest coming into, Karate Combat and these other labels and different things. And what you've done is so unique. What was the hardest fight you've had in your career? And what was your favorite fight of your career?
Hardest fight of my career, and I'll say hardest and favorite was against Nate Marquardt. That was in the UFC, and I had a really good time training to fight him. He was one of the best in the world. He was the king of Pancrase is one of the titles he won, and he was my coach on the Ultimate Fighter. So I got to train and fight somebody who I knew how good he was, how in practice he was able to beat all of us up at will. And I got to train and fight for him, and that was a ton of fun. And then another notable mention was, the most famous fight I've ever had was against Rashad Evans. He was just the UFC Hall of Famer, and he was the king of UFCdom for a while there. But this last fight against Tyrone Spong, he's Rashad Evans' coach. He is, like I said, maybe the greatest kickboxer to have ever lived.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of fun training for him, and it was even more fun getting the win over him.
In spectacular fashion too. At that, you know what? Because of all your performances in Karate Combat as a whole, you've gone online. At least people have really flipped the switch on how they would treat you as a competitor, how they discuss you. Because I'll go into your videos, I'll go into your comment section, go into the forums about Sam Alvey here, and where you see everyone just dogging on him for his latter part in the UFC. Now everyone's like, oh my God, he's 5 fights in, he's holding 2 belts in Karate Combat, he hasn't had a loss, he's completely flipped the script on everyone. How does that make you feel as a competitor or just as a person?
It feels so worth it now. It feels really good. Everyone knows I didn't end my career in the UFC, although it was a long career and I had a lot of wins in there. It was the end of my career was not the greatest. Was not what I like to brag about. But the internet loved to talk about it. So I moved on to Karate Combat, and like all other post UFC fighters, everyone expected me to kind of fizzle, flop, win, maybe lose, just kind of diddle around. And I've proven I deserve to be where I was in the UFC. I deserve to be at the head of Karate Combat. I deserve it because I am that good. I think I changed the story. I think I changed what people are going to talk about, especially with this last fight. I've never had such a positive post-fight internet presence as I do now with Tyrone Spong.
Oh,
Yeah,
everyone's
always
losing it.
big.
They absolutely lost it because it was amazing. I talked to people, and I talked to a lot of people beforehand, and everyone was really worried about you fighting this guy because he's well above your weight, and he's this kickboxer and all of that. And then the moment that everyone was dying though was when you kicked him in the head, because you're not known for that, but the internet lost it when you did that.
It was the first head kick I've ever thrown. Over 80 fights, I've never thrown one. I threw it and I landed. I was so happy. Jared was in my corner. I went back to the corner and said, guys, I threw a head kick. I've never done it before. I get in my corner. I was like, oh my God.
No, I could tell you right now, your wife, so diligent, did not take her eyes off the match at any point for whatever reason. Me, however, and your other buddy, we saw the head kick. We turned and we just hugged each other because it didn't make any fucking sense, but it worked. We were just happy for you that it worked. It was it was a hell of a moment. But you know what? Sorry, go ahead.
That was what everyone was talking about on the internet, because they've seen you in so many fights. Everyone thinks they know how you fight. And then for that to come out, it was shock. I mean, total shock.
Yeah, it paid off. It's in practice. I kick all the time. I'm a kicker, and in the fight, I've never needed it. I've never wanted to use it because there was always the threat of the takedown, and so I'll just box everyone. And now to be able to open up and kick the greatest kickboxer in the head it was a cool moment.
That was the moment the internet collectively lost its mind. I was watching live that was.
This one's more like a personal question to me because I've discussed it with Summer here over and over again. Before the fight even happened, I think we had a feeling that you were kind of getting in this guy's head a little bit. And certainly in the fight, we saw that you had shaken him somewhere to his core. Like he was not comfortable being there with Sam Alvey. And you put him out before he was able to figure it out. So do you think the mentality played a role here in your match?
It might have. It's always been. It's never been me. I've never been the guy where anyone's been able to psych me out or get. So I don't know. I don't know. I've always just enjoyed it. Everyone else looks at it as more of a job, as what they have to do. I've just always enjoyed it. So I've never been in that headspace where it gets to me. So maybe, I mean, I'm always willing to have it happen. I'm always willing to have somebody be nervous about me being a nice guy. And if it worked on him, fantastic.
I think it also shocks people as well when they meet you for the first time, because it's one thing to see you online and think, oh, this guy's fake. He's got a persona. This is just who he is, whatever. And then I'll meet him in person and I'll really see what he's made of and what he's like. And you're the exact same dude.
Yeah,
in every
100%
regard.
The same guy.
Sam's the same smiling dude in and outside the octagon, in and outside of interviews, in and outside of the gym. It doesn't matter.
I just enjoy what I do. I mean, I've been blessed with power and everything else. I had to work real hard for it, and that I get paid to travel around the world doing something I do for free. It's just the coolest thing in the world.
Don't tell them you do it for free.
Yeah, I say that all the time. Oh yeah, don't tell President Awesome.
Now I'm gonna say this: you're what people online, they were talking about you as the fighter's fighter. You're the fighter that other fighters look up to. You've taken every fight offered to you. You've put 100% in 100% of the time. And fighters get really excited to meet you. Like, you are the fighter's fighter. Where do you want to go from here? What do you want to do next? How do you want to grow?
I want to be in the history books of karate combat. I'm the first double champ. I was the first light heavyweight champ. I was the first heavyweight champ. I want to defend both belts. I want to defend them and make sure that 10 years from now, when karate combat is the new UFC, I will have been the first. I will have been the first superstar. I want to be like Mike Perry was with bare knuckle boxing. I want to be that with karate combat. I want to be the face of the organization.
It's funny. People are comparing you to your karate combats to Conor's UFC. That's the comparison they're using right now. So they were talking about that during your fight. So you should. If you go back and actually watch the stream, you'll see these comments. I was thrilled.
I watched the stream, but I was just watching me. I should go back and read the comments. I did hear years ago, Reddit ate me alive and spat me out, and so I was done with Reddit. I heard Reddit liked me for the first time in a decade.
Reddit's where the fighters fighter thing started.
Yeah,
so Reddit loves it.
I might have to give them another shot, but they chewed me out or they chewed me up and spit me out years ago. So I kind of had written them off.
Reddit used to be super toxic. Like it was really bad for a really long time. It's sort of blended with like the 4chan crowd, not a good place to be. Over the years, it's gotten a lot better. It's like where what is it? Like Twitter, which is now X, was always the place where like the most toxic stuff would be said, and Facebook, you get the wholesome memes. Reddit was like 10 times that. It got to where 4chan was, and then all of a sudden it became wholesome. It became
I think people got sick of being just assholes and upset at everything.
Pretty much. And so it was taken over by the, hey, we don't want pick me girls and we don't want nice guys. And it would be, and now that it's kind of the nice people took over Reddit, that's why everyone likes you, because you are the king of the nice guys. Like, wait, that's terrible wording. That's terrible wording. Wait, let me fix the wording. You're a nice human. I don't want to use the term nice guy because that has negative connotations, but you know what I mean. Like nice people.
No, I'll have to give him another shot. It was years ago, and I think I told you guys on the show before. I was trying to adopt a kid from Africa, and it's an expensive process. And I reached out. I said, hey, if anyone wants to donate, help me do it. It'd be great. And they did not like that I asked them to do that. they were very upset. To this, I still every now and then get posts like, hey, this is the guy that was trying to get us to pay for his kid. It's like, Christ, that's not what I was trying to do. And so it was that instance where I said, all right, I'm done with Reddit, but I'll give him another shot.
Yeah, just maybe don't ask them to help in adoption. I don't know. I don't know what's going to set them off.
That's not wise. So the Reddit adoption, I think people have a really, especially on Reddit back in the day, unrealistic one idea of like, if you're adopting a kid, they just give you the kid, and two of what this takes. And so Reddit is the place where you don't have to have any education. There is no fact checking whatsoever. And whatever you say, that's just what is.
That sounds about right. They all, I mean, the comment they got is, if you can't afford a kid, you shouldn't be adopted. So, well, that's not it. It's like $30,000 to adopt a kid.
Yep.
Yeah. It's very expensive, and none of them wanted to hear it.
No, it's ridiculous.
Oh, absolutely. No, they don't get it. It's so I've adopted. I know, Sam's adopted. It is expensive. It is very expensive to adopt. Raising the kid is cheaper than getting the kid.
Oh yeah, raising the kid's easy. They kind of do it themselves after a while.
Yeah, but eventually, but getting the kid in the first place, awful, just awful.
Yeah.
Since we're already on the topic, what would you guys say is the most rewarding aspect of raising a kid or adopting? Either way is fine.
You have to raise it. There are laws in place for that.
Yeah, well, one of them is going to be my retirement, so that'll be pretty rewarding. No, it's just everything they do. Every time I think something I always do with my kids. Anytime they trip or anytime anything happens, you almost died. And I say it all the time. I'll say it 3-4 times a day. Like anything. And I heard one of my kids say it the other day. Oh my God, that's the greatest thing ever. Like, she was 4 or 5 at the time, and somebody else tripped. Oh, you almost died. And that was like, that was like the greatest thing I've ever heard.
So that's funny. Yes, you get to see what your work pay off in a sense. What you instill upon them.
Yep, and I'm sure she didn't even realize that she stole what I said, but I know it, and it made my heart sing.
Man, that's so awesome. How do your kids feel about your fights and competing and everything? Are they fans of it? They
love it. They love it, and they all get. So I came home with the new belt. Like my first belt was not a good belt. It meant a lot, and I was proud of it, but it's not a good belt. This new belt is a fantastic belt. I'll bet you it weighs. Well, you held it. It's probably 30 pounds, 20 pounds, somewhere in there.
Stupidly heavy for a belt.
And my kids all took it. Can I take? They were fighting over. Got to take it to school first, so they all got to take it to school and show it off to their classmates and their teachers, and even their school was like watching me do what I was doing. And so they love it. They're proud of me whether I win or lose, but they certainly like it more when I win.
Now, follow up. Can you hold on to that one for 1 second? Follow up to that. Do any of them want to compete in martial arts, and are you okay with that?
God, I hope not. At least not for a career. They all know martial arts. Like all of my kids, except for my youngest, were born. We went to the gym and then we went home. My youngest was born at home, so it was just, we couldn't do anything else. But I hope none of them fight professionally. But all of them are in wrestling. They're in jiu-jitsu. They're in kickboxing, and some are just started. So I'm going to get to do a lot more with them over the summer.
Now that's interesting because you actually have the same thought process a lot of professional fighters have, where I don't want my kid to do this. And I can say about myself, I'm not your level, but even I'm like, I don't want my kid to do this, and I've not had it as hard as Sam Alvey's had. But why do you? I really can't put a word to that other than just maybe wanting to protect them. So what's your idea of not letting your kids or not wanting them to fight professionally?
As much skill is needed, you need just about equal amount of luck. And to do any career where luck is a key factor in you succeeding, don't do it. I mean, I fought Clay Guida's brother, JC Guida, years ago. If I won this fight, I got into Bellator. To this day, I think I lost the fight, but two of the judges gave it to me. I got really lucky. Had I not gotten lucky, my entire career would have changed. I would not have had any of the. I wouldn't have had nearly as many successes as I had. And just little things like that will change your career. Had I lost that fight, I wouldn't have gone to Bellator. I wouldn't have gone to this and that. My career would have changed drastically. And I got lucky. It was a hometown fight. I got a good decision. So many little things like that could go the other way. My end in the UFC went the other way. I had a lot of unlucky breaks, but I had already kind of made a name for myself. I was getting decent money to lose fights, and that's kind of where I don't want my kids to be. I want them to not need luck to be on their side to have a decent career.
Makes sense.
I think, well, you've also physically fought very hard to give your children opportunities. And I think that makes a difference. If you guys are really putting yourselves physically on the line, of course you wouldn't want your children to do that. And you've put yourself in a position where you can give your child every opportunity, and you hope they take it.
Right.
You hear that with parents in the military, you hear that with that sort of thing. My father always said that with my brother, is he joined the military so my brother didn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
You do certain things to get ahead, so your children don't have to.
Yeah. I hope they could beat the UFC champion. I hope they could beat me up. I mean, I read it the other day. When your father dies, there is the last man that ever wants you to be better than him gone. It's like, oh man, that's true. I want all my kids to be better at me than everything. It's like, if I could make them better than me right now, I would in a heartbeat. And I just blessed to have them, and I look forward to helping them do whatever it is they do, whether it is fight, and like I said, I hope not, or it is to be an accountant or a baseball player. Baseball would be great. My retirement would be wonderful.
A baseball player.
Yeah, that would be. I'm getting them all in baseball.
Now, for your children to have a famous father, does that affect them?
I'm fighter famous. That's not that famous.
You're pretty famous online now, Sam.
In fighter circle. It's one of my biggest TikTok videos ever is saying just that. I said, I'm fighter famous. Like, if you know fighting, you know who I am. If you don't know fighting, you have no idea who I am. And so they're proud of me, but it doesn't really get to the head. At this point, they're used to me getting stopped once or twice a week to get a picture, an autograph or something. And they like showing my belt off. They like telling people who I am.
That's fair. We'll flip this around. Has there been someone who you like, an A-list celebrity, who recognized you at different points?
No. No.
Fair enough.
I don't hang around those circles. I don't know how many A-list celebrities have ever been around me.
You know, a royal. We were talking about you with Prince Mario Max, the prince from Denmark, and he's a fan of yours.
Okay, well there we go.
Yeah, all
You
right.
have fans. I know that.
Well, if he ever needs a security guard, I'll help him out.
I will let him know. I think that's provided by the country, but I'll check.
We'll get some extra. Sam would be the best security guard anyone's ever had.
No offense, I don't think so. I think he's too recognizable. Like, when you have a massive security guard with a bright red beard that's famous in his own right, I'm not sure that helps, because that draws more attention than hides you.
Just wear a mask. Nobody recognizes you.
Across.
Yeah.
I like that. Just then nobody sees the smile and the beard. Then you're safe.
Yeah.
I like that.
Exactly right. Earlier, Sam, we talked about setting a lot of firsts in karate combat. Where do you think you want that legacy to finally go? Do you want to be the first person to do everything possible in karate combat? Do you want to have the best win streak ever, and that's your claim to fame? Where do you think you want it to stop?
I want to be the guy that everyone is compared to. Every champion in the future of the organization is compared to. I've done a real good job of turning my reputation around in the fight world since leaving the UFC, and I think that's going to be something that lasts for a long time around the world. If people are saying, "Well, Smile and Sam did it, you can do it too," and so I think that'll happen. But he just put him in the field. Don't put him in the cage. Sorry, my horse is getting walked in through the.
Hi, horsey.
Yeah, and I think that'll be a big part of my legacy is how I turned my career around. But as far as karate combat goes, I want to be the guy that everybody else is compared to for the rest of forever. I want people to ask Sam probably would have beat that guy, kind of like Anderson Silva is now, or GSP, or unfortunately John Jones.
Right.
Not a John Jones fan.
No, not a John Jones fan. And he's holding up. Actually, you know what? How do you feel about the whole situation with John Jones holding
He's
up?
ducking Tom, and everyone knows it. I'm loving it because John Jones is a cheating SOB, and he deserves none of the praise that everyone gives him. But the way he himself is imploding, all he will be remembered for the rest of forever is how he ducked Tom Aspinall. That is all he will be remembered for at this point. And that couldn't be happier about it. Like all the good grace people are willing to forgive him for, beating up his wife, running into a pregnant woman, running back to get the coke, the cheat, the drugs, the eye pokes. Nobody. People forgive him for that for some reason because he was good in the ring, even though he cheated a lot. And now all he will be remembered for is that he's ducking Tom.
I always look at it like this. It goes under Diddy rules. If you have enough talent or you have enough money, people tend to ignore the more problematic things. But it always gets to the point where there's one thing they cannot ignore anymore. And I think John Jones is getting to that point. And that's exactly what you're saying there. It's getting to the point that they're like, no, it's just one thing on top of another, on top of another, on top of another. And finally, now this.
Yeah, no, and that's him. And I love it because I think he has cheapened our sport. And it's just a lot of fun to watch everyone turn on him like this.
It's interesting to me, the reversal. You were talking about it with yourself, with like Reddit going after you, and now you are the king of the internet. Anywhere you put in your name, everyone's talking about, kind of they're talking about you like you rose from the dead. You can do no wrong. And John Jones, who could do no wrong, has gone completely the other way. He's been diddified.
He's been diddied.
He's been diddied. He's been diddied.
Oh man,
he's been deified. That's it. You've been deified. He's been deified. It's very interesting to see the change and how the internet turns. But I think there's only so long you can fool people.
Right.
Mm-hmm. He has hit the end of that, and I'm hoping to have just been starting mine. Not the fooling people part.
No.
No, you were fooling them with the pre-karate combat end of fight.
Yeah.
Now this is the true Sam Alvey.
What I see a lot of online when people talk about you now is they talk about the changes to your fights, where before I would see people kind of complain about the losses and why you were still staying there. And now people are looking more into those fights and going, well, this was a last minute change. Well, this was a last minute change. Well, this was a last minute fight. Well, this was a last minute change. I'm like, okay, so they're actually starting to put more and more look into it. And they're not being so kind to the UFC on some of your last fights now.
Yeah, most of my last 8 fights were on short notice, up a weight class. And I always said, yes, I'm in. And I would do the same for karate combat, but they haven't asked me to yet. So
I think people are afraid of you now, Sam. I don't think looking at those fights.
Yeah. No, it's a totally, you really are just a different animal now, especially in the pit. Not the octagon anymore, but the pit.
I love that pit.
Now, what are the biggest differences between fighting in the cage versus fighting in that thing?
In the cage, I can play with the cage. I can back up a lot. In the pit, if I back up, I lose. I gotta push forwards. And that's where I started kicking in this last fight at the Cavs. Is he was doing a good job of keeping my back foot on the pit, and I couldn't let him do that. And so I started throwing those kicks just to try and get him to back up, and it worked.
Yeah, I'll say it worked. God, still.
Again, that head kick moment, everything exploded online because everyone thinks they know everything about you because of the number of fights you've had, and everyone melted down. Go read the comments. Really, go read the comments. That was the moment of, oh, like it was like this long scream that came from the internet.
Well, I was screaming in the corner too, so I understand that.
Towards the end here now of the show, I did have a couple more things I wanted to cover with you.
We can tell everyone where to find you before we do.
Oh yeah, hey, hit me up on School, SKOOL, Smiling and Striking. I'm an online coach as well as an in-person coach, but it's blowing up. Especially after winning my second belt, becoming the truly greatest karateka to have ever lived. I've blown up on School, and I would love to train with anyone watching this.
That was actually one of the things I wanted to ask you is how is your online school going, and if you want to tell the audience about it. But I think we just kind of covered that right now. Right.
Yeah, it's going well, especially after this last one. We got a lot more interest in it, a lot more people talking to me, and I'm looking forward to getting everyone in my premium site.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's worth it too. They're learning from as you say, the greatest karateka in the world.
Modern day Chuck Norris, some people are calling me.
Yeah. Has any of this enticed you to maybe go for your karate black belt or some other martial arts?
I'm a gold belt. What do I need a black belt for?
Yeah. I like that.
It's fair enough. Oh man. No, that's really cool though. It's awesome. All your success is really good. I love that it's coming to you, man. You've been friends with you for years. You were my coach for years, and I'm really happy to see it all come together for you in such a way.
It's really nobody. It could not happen to a better person.
Really.
Well, I appreciate it, and thank you. But I mean, on a week's notice, you said yes, I'll be there. You packed up and traveled to Dubai with me, and I thank you for that.
You gave me the opportunity. I loved it. It was great. No, it's traveling.
We gotta
definitely a trip.
We got to get you in karate combat, fighting for whoever.
Yeah.
Yes, but fighting with whoever, unless it's you. Then I don't want to do it.
Yeah. I like that. He's like, I'll take any fight except Sam. I'm not fighting Sam.
I don't want to fight Sam. I don't want to fight that big guy, like 260, 6'7", whatever.
He's likely my first heavyweight title defense.
Yeah.
Hey, outside calf kicks and head kicks, man. He'll never see it coming.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, someone that big. That's terrible.
Yeah. How are you? How would you be preparing for that, man?
I'm not exactly sure. I think I'd plan on wrestling him. Like I would find a way to judo throw him. But that's a lot of dude to have to throw. I would need to start working with some bigger guys, and then developing from there.
Listen to your horse. Just bite.
Yeah, just bite him. Just bite him.
Bite. It works for Tyson. It works for your horse. It works for your horse, and it worked for Mike Tyson.
All right, that's right. I'm gonna bite him. You've done it. We'll put you in my corner next time. Bite him now, Sam. Bite him now. Aim for his face.
Historically, Australians have not given you the best advice. I've told you to bite. You were told to kick another guy in the junk. It's Australians and not. It's like we're probably not the people to listen to.
I like to think that guy's still coming to watch Sam's fights. He's just a lot quieter now.
No, you kick him in the guy.
In the dick. Oh, yeah. That'll never get old.
Really want that guy to show up and just do it again. Like that was.
He should show up and sell T-shirts of it.
He should have sold tickets with. He should have sold tickets.
That was amazing.
It really was.
Now you've got a school, you've got a farm, you have fights, you have so much. You have 115 children. How do you manage everything?
I just get it done. I've got a food truck. Actually, I was rear-ended yesterday, and my food truck was totaled.
Oh no!
Yeah. See, here's one of my kids now.
Hi.
Yeah, and so I was actually taking my food truck to a shop to get repaired, and I got big old truck wiped it out. Say, oh, rats.
No, you were not taking it to get repaired. It was in perfect condition because
I had a light on the inside I couldn't get on. He wiped out the back end.
Okay.
So, no, I'm talking to
it's a bit of a leap.
So it has officially been totaled. The guy had insurance. Super nice guy that hit me, other than the hitting me part. Where they could go forward from there. So I was looking to buy new food trucks. I was going to sell this one. I was going to buy a new one. Now hopefully just insurance buys it.
It should.
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
that. Imagine rear-ending someone and getting really annoyed and coming out, and it is one of the greatest fighters in the world.
I thought that, and he got out. The dude was bigger than me by like a bunch. Like Christ, I'll bet you was 6'5" outside linebacker for whoever. Like God dang it. Yeah. And yeah. So I walked up, I'm friendly enough. I was like, go ahead, sorry, are you all right? Make sure. Said, you play football or something, no, don't you? Said, yeah, I played for Kentucky. I said,
Oh shit.
yeah.
So we've got cage fighter versus NFL.
Yeah.
He found a linebacker. The only guy you would be less pleased to see coming out of the car than Sam himself.
Yeah. It was like, I think I'm a big dude until I see a real big dude. It's like, oh man.
There's some true freaks of nature out there.
There are.
Yeah.
All right, Sam, tell everyone again where to find you.
Yeah, you can, if you follow me on School, SKOOL. If you go to my Instagram, it's probably easier to find. You go to the link in the bio. But yeah, School, I would love to train with you. I'd work with your kids. I'd work with you so you can work with your kids. Teenagers, young adults, old adults. I want to help make the next, UFC champion.
I love that.
That's excellent.
I love that. Guys, thank you for joining us. Make sure to follow Smile and Sam. Go to his school. You will be smarter. You will be better off and probably a little richer if you just go do that. I'm saying, because what martial arts breeds in you is the ability to do anything. Look at what Sam does in his life. I genuinely chalk it up to that. If you've got the grit, you can do it. So, Sam, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on your second belt in Karate Combat. You're a double belter champion. That's incredible.
The champ, baby.
Yep, you're the champion's champion. I love that. And we, of course, here always follow your career. So thank you very, very much for joining us.
No, thank you, guys.
Take care.
Guys, thank you for joining us on Behind the Scenes. Please do follow Sam. He is one of the greatest fighters of all time, as you guys have repeatedly now said. Seriously, read the Karate Combat feed. Everyone lost their gut.
Script flipped.
It was incredible. Thank you for joining us on Behind the Scenes. I'm the Baroness. We're on with my co-host. I'd call you the baddest bear in the cage, but we just had Sam on.
Yeah.
So it's a guy that shows up in the cage sometimes when Sam's not there. It's Bear Fiorda. This is Behind the Scenes. We'll see you next week. Good night.
This has been Behind the Scenes with the Baroness and Bear Fiorda. Only on Talk 4 Media.